Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Oh, man, I actually got some energy in me today. I don't know why I should. I went to a second grade field trip, and that was, I mean, the kids were great. It's the adults. The adults are what's draining, I feel like, a lot of times, especially the moms. Not to knock on moms too much, but boy, I tell you what, power trip with mom, just let them have it. Whatever they want to do, just step back, because it's not it is not worth it to get in the way of mama bear.
Your wife or women on the field trip? I don't
Women
understand.
on the field trip. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Women, the moms at my kids' school, like,
Got to be in charge.
it's like the teachers and stuff are all like, and even the moms sometimes like, oh, it's so great to have dad here. Just don't do anything. Just be an entity in the room. That's it. Like, anything else? Yeah. Like, I was standing in the lobby of this museum, and they told us, oh yeah, hey, like, bathrooms are over here. And I'm standing there. I'd sent my daughter in to go to the bathroom with all the other girls, and I'm standing out there. And this mom walks up behind me, and she's all like, yeah, so the class is supposed to go up the stairs. And I'm like, uh-huh. I'm like, I'll be there in a bit. Sure, no problem. I'm like, calm down. It's okay. Take a breath. And then these other two moms, I kept watching them like pass back and forth this first aid kit. And at certain points, the other one would be like, oh, I'll take it. No, I got it. It's okay. No, I'll take it. It's okay. I need to work on this other arm. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. So yeah. And the dads are just standing back, just watching this. Like, I was like, I don't know what all was going through your mind, but I'm just like, I've told my wife, I was like, I'm just playing this out like the military. Keep your head down, stay quiet, don't talk unless talked to. Like, that's it. That's how you get through a field trip.
Well, I have not had that experience that I know of, but
you lucky.
well, that or oblivious. It's quite possible that they were trying to do it, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm old. I can get away with that stuff.
I have just like tried to be, a present parent / I don't know if you want to call it authority figure or whatever, but I've tried to, like, help with different things with kids. And I tell you what, the amount of times that I have had moms just speak their mind to me afterwards about how I did not do that right is unbelievable. So that's after the last time I had that issue, which was while I was coaching baseball a couple years ago, I pretty much said from that point on, if I'm around moms, I will be just quiet. I'm there, and I am not speaking unless I am spoken to, because in their presence, apparently it is a privilege to get to talk to them. So just leave it at that, man.
All right.
But anyway,
different experiences, different people. I will say I've never really had a problem, but I will say too, and I said obliviousness a moment ago, jokingly, but the reality of it is, if you are on a power trip or you are like setting up a social clique of any kind, I'm probably not going to be a part of it. I don't really want to be a part of it. I'm like, no, you go ahead and do your thing, because with any group of people, there's always a certain hierarchy.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be the loudest person there.
No, I don't either.
Like you said, you just like, go ahead, do what you do. And I'm having fun taking pictures with my kid, and we're going to have a good time. And I'm taking pictures of maybe, sometimes there are other parents that can't be there and they want pictures of their kids. And other than that, let's go. We'll eat where you want to eat. We'll go stop for the bathroom before we go upstairs, or we won't, depending on what's
going on. Yeah, exactly. But I will say it was a good field trip. It was actually a really cool field trip, because
where'd you go?
We went to Sunwatch Indian Village in what's, I guess, considered Kettering, Ohio. It's just north or just south of Dayton, Ohio. And in this little area, just off of the river, is basically a recreation of an indigenous tribe that it's got a bunch of different it's the Fort Ancient People is what they also called it, but it's made up of a bunch of different tribes. Like all these different tribes sort of say that they're from this tribe. And it's really neat because they've done the work archaeology wise to basically find this living establishment, this community. They've been able to look at the ground, do some excavating, and figure out all right, this was grass and dirt. This actually had a post. And so they replaced all of what wasn't there with posts. So they actually put the same style in. So they've got kind of this really cool border where all these posts would have been. They've actually seen where some of the houses were. And so they've rebuilt, they have one that's just a shelter, or just the interior of the shelter. So it's just all of the sticks and logs. And then they've got two houses that are one was a celebration room and one was a big meeting room or big meeting house. And it's just really neat to walk in and just go back in time and just get to experience that, and also talk about this is how they taught the kids how to hunt. They actually have this thing where they roll this big stone puck, and then they gave all the kids sticks that were they didn't have the spear tip end on them, but they let them throw them like they were spears and try to hit it and stuff. And it was really fun. I was just this is so cool. And they were showing them how they would set up their gardens and where some of the other houses were that were on the property, and that there actually are buried bodies. There's a graveyard over here on this one spot, and it's all these just flat stones. And to me, the one thing they didn't say that I noticed was that the flat stones were from the river. They were flat. That didn't happen just anywhere. And it's stuff that I've pulled out of creeks before and things like that. So I was obviously knew what it was. And then they have a museum with a lot of really neat pieces in it. And they actually had did a burial, what is that called? Exhumed a body, I guess, to just sort of do some studying. And they did a plaster mold of the face of this person and recreated them actually in a full-size person to show you what they would have looked like, which was really neat. With a couple other people. And so all this different stuff. And it was so funny too, because there's also a painting in the background that shows more people, what they would have looked like. And whereas the mannequins, they're they've got a top and a bottom to them, clothing wise. The other, some of the other women in this, completely naked top, showing it all. And I'm I never heard once anybody, adults or kids, pointed out, say anything. I was just interesting. And I feel I've been on trips before, heard people say oh, so and so flipped out when they saw this in art or something, whatever it was. And it's it's a depiction, it's real life. It's not pornography or anything like that. Jeez, calm down. But never any of that was brought up. And I actually really appreciated that, because it was everybody was just immersed in the experience and enjoying it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool trip. And I was glad to have gotten to go on it with my daughter. The nice part was that I didn't have to ride the bus up there, which I heard was a complete dumpster fire of an experience, because the kids were all excited. Every time a semi truck was coming up on them, they were all doing the toot toot, trying to get them to hit it and stuff.
Make it honk.
Just being crazy. So, which is fine, whatever. That's all part of the growing up experience. I just didn't want to be around it. I drove my car on my own, listened to my own music, chilled out.
That's it. There is a time and a place where you should ride the bus with your kids. It is. And you do those things. But once you've done it and you've gotten your fill, which could be one trip or it could be 100 trips.
Definitely one trip.
Right? And you've done your what you could, and you just have to, no, I'll just meet you there. Because again, and it's not just only do I like get to listen to my music, or I get to listen to my, audiobooks for you, or whatever it might be, but also I don't have to listen to, I don't know, 40, 50 kids all talking at once.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really enjoy being on the bus when I'm ready to be on the bus, like, but the last 2 times they've said, oh, well, the parents, if you want to go, you'll have to meet us there. And I'm like, oh, darn.
Oh, shoot.
I guess I'll have to meet you there, buddy.
Yeah,
sorry.
no kidding.
I'd ride the bus with you, but parents are just, there's only a couple of parents allowed or whatever. I don't mind missing it.
The other nice part about not having to ride the bus today too, though, was that I dropped the kids off at school. I was able to go and vote when it, there's not a lot of people around because they're all heading to work anyway. So got to go in, vote, no problem. Actually got to talk to a few people outside. One of the township committee people was out there, so I was chatting it up with him because they want to plant trees in front of my house, and I said no. And actually got a waiver to not have that happen because I have enough trees that I don't need 2 in front of my house, especially right where I park at. Anyway, so he was kind of like congratulating me on that. And then, so I voted, left,
cool.
I was able to gas up, and then like, just take my time. Like I showed up, I got there way before they did, honestly. So it was nice. But
awesome.
Yeah. So good trip and all, and came home, picked them up from school, and came back to the house here. And that was when we found in the mail the newest Lego Life magazine. I can't get that to go up on screen.
Now, I was going to, you were talking about how respectful and understanding that the kids were when it came to seeing a woman that wasn't fully clothed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because I feel like your son has a certain propensity for enjoying centerfolds.
Not that kind of centerfold.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so yeah.
What kind of centerfold?
Well,
Rock?
They were all excited about the Lego Life, and my son comes walking in because we watched The Mandalorian together, and just so happens that in this edition of Mandalorian, I can't really hold on here. I got to take off my screen so you can see this, honestly, because it's worth checking out. So inside of the new Lego is this sweet minifigure of Grogu and the Mandalorian getting things ready for the next season. And so Hezekiah walks into the kitchen while I'm cooking. He's like, "Hey, Papa, check this out. Isn't that awesome?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's cool." I was like, "That's called a centerfold." And Corey just about fell on the ground laughing. Had like a total like 90s dad moment. And she's like, because I know where her mind went immediately.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay," and just like walks away, has absolutely no clue what I'm talking about.
Dad, I love centerfolds. Me too, son.
Me too. Read it for the articles.
Do they even make magazines like? I mean, sure they must. They must. I was,
they must. I have absolutely no idea.
I really don't know. I don't.
Probably not. Everything I feel like is transitioned to the
it's digital.
Online, digital type of thing. But regardless of that, I know we talk a lot in like the Discord and stuff about Lego, and guys are always showing off Legos, especially on the Dad Lounge. There's always guys building Legos sometimes while they're talking. Grady Black. But if you haven't signed your kid up for the Lego magazine, you should definitely do it, because there's really cool, like you get to see different sets. There's all different like activities and things in there and stuff. And it's just a really cool magazine that comes once a month is what it is. It comes. And so it's just neat. I mean, it's all just basically, gotcha advertising,
gotcha life. Yeah. And it's free.
It's free. Right? Yeah. It's free. I'll put a link up in the description if anybody wants to subscribe to it, so that your kids can get a hold of it. I'm actually creating a second.
Oh, your kids. Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. My kids will absolutely see it.
Sure. I usually, actually, for a while there, I was like, until I've read through it, you don't get a look at it, because I know they're going to mark it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to see what's in there first. I know, right? None whatsoever. But
I do like that the because of the centerfold, as it were, of that magazine is a poster. It looks like, you could take it out and, put it on the wall, and for kids, especially, having those types of things you can put on your wall if you let your kids do that. Of course, I mean, I'm sure some people don't, but doing it, they love it. It's part of their decorating, and it also just makes it their own. And then it's something cool like the Mandalorian. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so Ruby's big thing that she liked back in the day was the and she still likes them actually, is the elf Lego sets that they had, or the elves. They've changed it up. It's a complete, like, it looks like the Friends style, like Lego Friends style of things, not the show. But well, because they're two different things, like they had that. Yeah. But anyway, no, but it looks more like that because they came out with like the Netflix show for it and everything, and so they changed around and like rounded everything out, and like nothing close to what it looked like previously. And they of course discontinued that whole set. I remember she got into it like late, and I was talking to Matt Strain about it, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I went to a garage sale, he's like, this lady had like almost every single like set, and I bought them all, and I just basically like put them up in my attic, and my daughter loves them, and so like I just bring one down like for birthdays and like holiday, different things, and I'm like, dude, you win. That's awesome.
Already got my holidays covered.
I was like, we were at his house when he was telling me that. I'm like, I'm going up in your attic, man. I might have to go home with a couple of those. He's like, you stay out of my attic.
Why is your shirt so bulky, Brock? Ate a lot. Crackers. Ate a lot of crackers, and I didn't actually chew them, so that's just squared off my belly, and I gotta go.
There's 6 packs, and then there's 6 boxes. I don't understand what's going on here. So,
it takes a true dedication to make your box belly.
That's right. I hear all this like crunchicle plastic. What is that all about?
Sorry, I got an upset stomach. A little gassy. I gotta get out of here.
Just a little bit. See you later. Bye now. Yeah.
Gotta go.
Oh shoot. But anyway, yeah, so that was a fun little thing. But just the fact that Corey's laughing is a good thing. It means that she's getting more on the men too, because she's supposed to go back to work next week, but I don't know, like I feel like it's going to be a lot of strain on her, so I don't want her to over extenuate herself too much, because we want her to heal up real nice, and this has been quite the trying journey. Being in your in your 30s and having a tonsillectomy is that's no joke.
Yeah, and people say it all the time, but it takes something like that for you to actually come to that realization of when people say you heal slower when you're old or older.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, yeah, this is not I'm not healed. Why am I not healed? I should be able to think hard, and this scar will go away. No, that's pretty permanent now.
Here I am trying to give Corey the benefit of the doubt with just saying she's in her 30s, and she texts me and she's like, almost 40. I was trying to, I guess she wants to stay true to herself. All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Like a bottle of fine wine.
She is like a bottle of fine wine. That's for sure.
Go.
Actually, she's like a bottle of fine bourbon. That's what she is. So even better.
More like a piece of some cheese. Some fine cheese. Aged cheese.
Aged cheese.
Woo, what is that smell? Is that aged cheese? Yes.
I'm not stepping in on that one. I'm out. Tagging out.
That's all right. I'm trying to get her to listen. Trying to get her to listen to the podcast. Well, what did Denny say? I can't tell you. You gotta listen.
The other thing I was going to tell you is that I'm drinking a very special drink from Mr. Eric Schoberg as part of the bourbon tasting number 2 that was done. So there's a group of guys that we got together at Home Dad Con, and we all brought bourbon bottles and put them all into like whatever it is, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, like little bottles, and got to bring them home and did like a whole thing. Yeah. Like the ones that you got.
A couple.
Yeah, you got a couple.
I only got 2. I got the leftovers.
That's right. You got the leftovers. That's right.
I took Paul home, and he was like, "Here, you can have some bourbon." I'm like, "I ain't argue that. Let's go."
What numbers did you get? I can tell you what they were.
I got a 1, and I got a surprise bottle. It doesn't have a label.
Nothing on it. Okay.
So, but I know what they are. Eric and Paul told me what that one. Eric told me what the other one was. So, but anyway.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Bourbon tasting. Please return.
So bourbon tasting. Interrupted. So Eric's bourbon that he found for everybody to try was 100 proof David Nicholson 1843. It's actually really good. I didn't mark it as being like one of my like top favorites. It actually hit about number 6 and all, like total over everybody. So, but it's a good one. But yeah, it was just fun. Like, 9 guys on a Zoom call, and just going through, and we, pour a little bit, try it, talk about it. Like we'd, kind of be like, these are the notes that I'm tasting or whatever. This is what proof I think it is. Like, is it a high, rye mash build? Is it a wheat mash build? Like we go through all this stuff.
I know, right?
Yeah. All the stuff you know about. And so we would go through all that. We went through all 9 of them, and then we like basically started from the I think we started with the least picked, or no, sorry, it wasn't the least picked. We went from like the first one, whoever was the best, and then went up from there. So to figure out like who had the worst bottle or whatever, it was really funny. So it was a good time. The quote unquote worst bottle, the one that got the least votes, actually came from Paul.
Oh, you're kidding?
No. No,
he seems to. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's just all about palates, and some people hit their palate different than it did for others, is kind of how it was. But he had a very unique bourbon. It was from a company called Holiday, and it was a bottled in bond, so it was 100 proof, and it was all right. I wasn't like huge on it, but it was a good one. Like for a lot of people, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of it. I actually gave it like a 1 out of 10. Not high up on my like flavor palette at all. So, but yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of fun. We had a good time with it, and that's the kind of stuff like, that I feel like we're starting to see more and more of. You got like the beer share, you get this, group of guys doing bourbon, you got the guys doing coffee, that kind of stuff. And then, just throughout Discord itself, more conversations about all kinds of other different things going on too.
Well, I have the one type of bottle of bourbon that I have now that is on my list, and I don't usually have a list, but I have a list because I don't know if you recognize the name Matthew Lillard. Mm-hmm. He was Scooby-Doo.
I posted Shaggy. About that. Yeah.
Did you about his bourbon?
Yeah, I posted it in the in Discord actually, because they just came out with it. It's a blended whiskey. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's called Quest End Paladin, and he's got other ones that are coming out. And if you're a D&D player, for one, the fact that he's a D&D player doesn't really surprise me, but he's one of probably my, favorite actors. I really love him on the screen. He just, I don't know, there's something about him. And like I
loved him in Scream.
Yeah, I didn't see Scream, but 13 Ghosts, which was similar. Yeah. And then before that was SLC Punk, Salt Lake City Punk. And
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's an older movie. And and he's a punk. He's like,
I could see that. I could definitely
the mohawk and everything.
I could definitely see that. Yeah.
He fit right in. It was great. It was a great performance. But yeah, that stuff sold out so fast.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Like, oh, come on. Oh, it's gone. Yeah,
that's
so
I've got that
stuff on my list.
That's the same thing with like Corey and I. We were watching Outlander, and we were catching up on everything, like going through, and of course it'd been out for a few years, so like all of it was hitting Netflix. And I just happened to just one day search out, like I was like, they got these bottles, like, is this like something specific? Well, here to come and find out, like they actually made their own like blended scotch that they were drinking. That's actually like something you could purchase. You can't find it. It's gone.
Right. Yeah.
Like it went so fast. Like there's so many, like, and that's the thing with good shows and, good actors, stuff like that. When they make things, like it's hard to get a hold of. I will say this though, there are some bourbons and whiskeys out there right now that are being more mass produced by larger companies that you can get a hold of, like Metallica, for instance. They have a collaboration that they do, and I can't think of who makes it exactly, but the bottle on it says like black, like, you know, like the Metallica album that's like just their name.
All right, yeah,
with the black album,
that's cool.
Enter Sandman and all that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so like that was put out by them. You know, you got Matthew McConaughey does stuff with Wild Turkey. So just different things, like, you know, actors and, you know, musicians that are just putting this stuff out. They just kind of, hey, I want to be involved in this, and they slap their name on it as a side, and it sells so fast. But that's the fun of it. That, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Ryan Reynolds, and then
with the gin.
Hugh Jackman, that had their, they were fighting each other about so many things. And
yeah, the aviation gin is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was huge. And it, I haven't tried it. I don't really like gin, so it's not something I think I'll get into, but it was delightful to see them coming out with products that they were really proud of. And it was really funny because Ryan Reynolds got his gin, and he said they're like having this little fight between him and Hugh Jackman, and it's kind of a joke and it's kind of not. And they said, well, we're going to do ads for the other person's product.
Yes.
And Hugh Jackman does this
great,
it's just amazing thing about the coffee, I think it was. And then Ryan Reynolds was like, ugh, and just like dumps it, and it falls over on the table, and you hear it gurgling out on the floor and all that. And it's like, oh my God, man.
He just totally trolls him like he normally would.
I thought we were joking. I thought it was going to be, no, I thought it was sincere, man. I meant this.
It's
like,
such
yes, I'm so sorry.
Their whole thing with the Deadpool Wolverine, like that running joke for multiple years, and now it's coming to fruition with the new Deadpool movie. It's probably one of the greatest like long game campaigns that's ever been created, and it's so fun to just watch them.
Right. They're so good at it, both of them.
Yeah. So and just the way they go back and forth, it's like two brothers, like they
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, they just nitpick the heck out of each other, and you can't tell if they're like, you can't tell if it's true or if like it's acting. Like it's just that creative. So it's a lot of fun to watch them go back and forth for sure.
Yep.
So actually, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, so like he bought into with another actor, the FC Wrexham football club out of England a couple years ago, and they did like a reality show. That. Yeah, so it was interesting because like at one point they of course needed sponsorship, and aviation jumped on that, like aviation gin. So like there are jerseys that have like the aviation gin on it and stuff that you can get a hold of. But yeah, they actually just put out a second season. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. The first one was actually really good. It was neat to, if you're a soccer fan, it's like it's sort of like another level of Ted Lasso. So like Ted Lasso is very inspirational, and it's not really about the soccer. It's, there's a storyline there. And then you get the FC Wrexham, which is more about the soccer and this team like journeying to try to get out of being in the basement of like the soccer club and actually come up to like the Premier League. But you also get to see sort of like the inner workings of what an owner goes through and everything. So you get all the commentary from like Ryan Reynolds, and this is why we did it and how we did it. And so it's really intriguing. It's very documentary-esque in a way, but it's got that like sort of next level of Ted Lasso. So if you like Ted Lasso, go on Hulu and watch the FC Wrexham quote unquote documentary. It's really good.
Yeah, I definitely like Ted Lasso. That's an excellent show.
So as I say, like you get a little more in depth into the soccer world with that. Yeah, man. So that's kind of what's going on there. I was looking at the calendar the other day, and I saw that we are getting closer to our favorite food holiday coming up here. Thanksgiving. Yum.
Christmas? Oh, my birthday? Wait.
No, that's coming too, though.
Yeah, it's coming quick. and we've been making plans to. We decided last year that we're not going to do turkey. If someone wanted a turkey, I could make one, no problem. But it's just not worth a lot of the hassle. And our oven here was built in 1978 or something. And while
you have one of those ones in the wall,
yeah,
with
double
Alice?
oven in the wall, yeah, bingo.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah. And I can't fit anything in it. I can't put my cookie sheets. I can't, so, and I've said this before, I don't want to harp on it.
Is it a double oven?
So,
yeah. Is it a double? Oh, I saw someone giving one of those away on like Craigslist or Marketplace or something on Facebook.
Take it. Don't take it. It's garbage. It's too small. So we can't do a real turkey. I could fry one or whatever. We could figure it out. If Marnie was like, I really want a turkey. All right, baby, I'll get you a turkey. No problem. But we're doing steak instead.
I applaud you for this.
Yeah. Well, I think you make your own tradition.
Yeah.
And if we go and go with the grandparents and what have you, and they'll probably want a turkey because it is their tradition. Absolutely. I'll do, we'll make a turkey, we'll do whatever you want. But for my family, and now for we've invited I don't know who actually is going to show up, but we've invited another couple that Marnie knows through knitting, and they have no kids. So there's going to be the two of them. And then we have another friend that we met over at the university and stuff. And he's maybe going to come over, maybe him and his child, maybe more than that. We don't know yet. But so we were looking at, and I said, okay, we might have this many people because my brother's coming with his two kids. Yeah. And his kids they're teenagers, so they're not really kids anymore. So we're just going to have, I think, 10 or 12 adults and a couple of what we 9 and 10-year-olds. So I'm going to need a lot of steak. And Marnie's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the store anyway, and I'll just check and see, and we'll pick it up. And I'm like, okay. And she bought 15 steaks, but they were less than $10 a piece because she bought, so many. Sure. It's still a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
But it's steak. It is what it is. And here's the coolest part. And I looked at her and I said, now this is fantastic. How are we going to cook 15 steaks in a matter of an hour? Have them all
I know
cooked?
how. You have it in your backyard, I bet. Don't you own a Blackstone?
I do.
That would do it.
That could do it. I want a sous vide.
Oh, you want to go that level? Okay.
Yep. Because
Matt Strain, hello.
And Eric too. I know Eric's listening. I hope he gets this
Eric
point in because he's the one that introduced me to them. Actually saw one in person. I've heard of it. I'm like a sous vide, whatever that is. But he's got this little immersion thing that you can put in, even in a cooler if it'll do it right. So you can do it when you're camping, as long as you have power.
Oh, seems a little too close to glamping right there, man.
It's definitely. Well, yeah.
What you doing? I'm sous videing a steak in my cooler.
Absolutely. Man, if you're not eating really well when you're camping.
Oh no, I'm not saying you can't eat real well. Don't trust me. I hear you on that. Just the sous vide part kind of took me. That's all.
Well, basically just putting it in a pot or a bucket kind of thing together. And then it brings it up to a certain temperature, and it keeps it at that temperature so it can't overcook it. So it just stays there, and and it's great. And then you take it out, and then we'd sear them. So we get them cooked to a certain level, and because I could fit 15 steaks on it, but I like to reverse sear them. I like to cook them in the middle and then sear them for the taste of that braised meat.
Okay.
And I said, if we get a sous vide, I could just do it all, and then we'll just sear them on the Blackstone. Just make sure they got a nice little black, char to them, and they'll be the best steaks we've ever had.
Okay.
And she's like, well, I spent all the sous vide money on steak, so I am not, in fact, going to get a sous vide.
You just put it out
I'm
there.
Cool with it.
You're just gonna put it out there on the buy nothing.
Well, right?
ISO sous vide for Thanksgiving. I'll give it back.
Right. And I did ask. I asked everybody that was coming. I'm like, hey, and if you're coming, do you have a sous vide? No. Okay. How about you? No. My brother I asked my brother, and he goes, I have an air fryer.
No.
No, stop, just stop. But it sounds really high dollar fancy.
It really does. Well, when you start talking French,
it's a very simple process, and it's a very uncomplicated way to cook meat to a certain. I mean, it's I'm not going to say it's better, because you can't, what you want out of it. Like if you want to smoke, you want to smoke. That's all there's. You're going to smoke your beef. You're going to smoke it. There's nothing else that'll work. But if you want to braise it, or you want to do whatever, but sous vide cooks it very well and keeps it at the temperature you need it to be. So
I think I just enjoy when I do a steak. I just like doing the whole cast iron, butter, time, like, just the whole Gordon Ramsay like show type of deal. Like that's my jam. That's how I enjoy. We'll get like filet mignons and do that kind of stuff with it, or I'll go get a nice New York strip or something like that. And
it's what and in that way, that's your tradition.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So that's how you're going to do it. Right.
Right. Well, and the other thing that I've been learning a lot about like butchery and meats and things is actually on TikTok. There's a guy named the Meat Dad, and this guy is cool. I know it sounds really bad. He's sitting there laughing, but he's a butcher. He got the name of the Meat Dad. I love it. It fits him. And he basically will show you how to break down like large pieces of meat and save you a bunch of money and things like that. And I haven't had the time to really go and do something along those lines and actually like go buy a big piece of meat like that and break it down. But it's really cool to watch him do it. And it's at least something that's a resource that's like, well, if I ever want to buy a huge side of that, like
half a cow,
something along those lines, like I can just jump on TikTok and watch him, very, meticulously break it down into all these different pieces. And I'm like, that's really cool.
It's a serious skill. It's very impressive. My uncle was a butcher for many, many years. And you'd see him, especially when you come to Thanksgiving. And he wasn't there every year. So when he'd show up, he's like, yeah, I can carve your turkey. And it was, he'd bring his own knives, which of course I understand that now. And he would just like, whoop, 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 and there we go. And it's all sliced up and all the meat's off. There's really almost no meat left on those bones, and we're ready to go. And I'm like, I didn't even see what you did, man. It's a serious skill.
I'll tell you what's really impressive to watch and quite crazy is watching a hog go through the whole butcher setup with a hog. So Corey's family, her our brother-in-law, like they used to raise hogs, and my other brother-in-law from Colorado would come in, it's like, how much you want for a hog? And like he'd oh, don't worry, he's like, I got one here that it's not going to really sell. He's like, you can part it out. And so basically, like, I've watched that happen in multiple times, and I'm like, it's so impressive to see them just like carve this animal up. And I've used some of those skills from hunting to be able to do what I need to for when I take a deer and stuff like that. But those are like skills that I feel like are very lost in this world of today. Like there's not as many people doing those things.
You got to come to Wisconsin.
Well, okay, maybe that's what it is.
Everybody, you're kind of required to know how to do these things here.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Well, all right.
It's a thing. It's we hunted a lot in Georgia. We ain't got nothing on Wisconsin. The people here, they hunt and they're hunting and cleaning. And the funny thing is they've got a little like donation box, not a little one really, but a big old donation box they have out every year near the hardware store, and it's for deer hide. And you bring your hide out there, and you donate it for, I think it's maybe the VFW. I can't remember, but it's one. I think it's one of the veteran associations over here.
It's Hunters for the Hungry. I bet
might be. This is just hide. Group. It's not meat.
So, it's just the hide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the hide. So
okay.
But the fact that you are asking the individual homeowners and hunters to bring in their deer hides means that you understand that they have them, because they're taking them and they're cleaning them completely themselves and butchering them up. You go down to the Fleet Farm, and oh my God, I love Fleet Farm. You go down to the Fleet Farm and they've got everything you need to process your own sausage, to process your own meats. I've got a like a deli meat slicer thing. And I've got a grinder that I can make, grind up sausage with and what have you, but it's nothing on what these guys have. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and it may be a skill a lot of people don't have or are getting away from, but I think that's part of progress. I think that's a part of, the thing where there was like, I learned war so that my children could learn art kind of thing. I don't know if we've talked about that before, I think, but basically generationally where we came out of, the silent generation came into a world where they had to teach their kids how to survive. And then it becomes, and Dr. Animation talked about this, and then it becomes, you teach your kids how to thrive financially. And once you've gotten through that generation teaches their kids how to be artists and how to be enlightened and how to learn and be intellectual. And it's a natural progression generation to generation that I think we want.
So evolution. Is it bad that I want to progress backwards and just like be more I want to be in the woods, like away from all of this crazy progression and just like,
no, not at all. Because
that's where I'm at.
And that's actually, you should read, Boys and Men by Dr. I think it's Richard Reeve. And he talks about, and it's an amazing book. And I read it along with the Equimundo study, the State of American Fathers. Yeah. And I have to say that desire to regress is very strong for men. And this is a whole podcast. We could talk about this, but because we are not breadwinners, what are we? Because we have so many men now, so really so many women who make plenty of money and they don't even need to get married. The marriage rates are dropping. The rates of having children are dropping.
Yeah.
And so we have men that are suddenly, wait, well, I can't provide money for you. So what do I do? And for us personally, no big deal. I'll take care of the kids. You make the money. I don't mind. I'll do either one. But for so many men, they can't make that and they do want to regress. So I think it's a natural thing for us. However, learning survival skills and skills that we could use, bushcraft and things like that, is completely different. Because you can be enlightened, and you can be an intellectual, you can be an artist, and you can learn bushcraft, and you can learn to clean a deer.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's what we are as humans.
Sure.
Specialization is for insects. Right?
I just as much as I'm on like social media and doing this podcast and everything else, there's lots of times I just basically want to just like board it all up and be like, I'm done. I'm going out of the woods, get away from everything.
We're going winter camping with the Milwaukee Dads group.
I didn't get that invitation. What are you talking about?
Are you in the Milwaukee Dads group?
I'm not. That's why I'm down here.
That's why you didn't get it.
I know. That would be
here in Cincinnati.
I will say, I don't think I have ever camped in the snow. That would.
Will you want them?
I don't know. Maybe. When is it? We'll talk offline.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I have another opportunity that I want to potentially run by you that a friend of ours has all the gear to go winter camping and hasn't done it and wants to. And I invited him up for Thanksgiving and we'll see. But if he doesn't, come up here in February or March. Come here in March and we can still winter camp. We can ice fish in March.
Oh, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I remember leaving to go do the Pacific Northwest trip and there was still snow in places as we drove west. And I was like, holy crap. Like,
right.
I was like, this is nuts. Like, well, we got all the way out to, God, where did we get to? Oh, we were at the Olympic National Park there in Washington and there was still piles of snow, like like bears coming out of the dens and like digging through the snow to like find stuff. And I'm just like, where are we? Like, it's May for like it's actually June. It's like, this is ridiculous. Like it was actually, it was June by that point. I'm like, it's June and there's snow on the ground still. This is
that's
unreal.
Crazy. I've never experienced that. But I love it.
But I did just experience snow at Halloween. So, anything's possible.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just never know. That's the weather for you. But, well, I'll say this. We've teased talking about Thanksgiving for the past 2 episodes. I definitely want to have that conversation fully through. So what we'll do is if you've listened this far into the show, if you have questions about anything you're prepping, or if you even just want to tell us what you're doing family tradition wise or something along those lines with your family, put them in the comments here or shoot us a message on Messenger or whatever. and we'll go through and try to address as many of them as possible. It's always fun to get those. I know Eric Schoberg, if he's made it to this point, he's already just texting us anyways and just telling us this stuff. We have our own message thread. He just sends me things on, or sends us things on, which is hilarious. But that's when I know
you're our favorite.
But that's why I know he's listening at that point. So we get live updates.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we'll do the Thanksgiving show next week, and that'll come out right that week of Thanksgiving. So that'll be fun because talking food, that's always a good time. Until then, we'll talk to y'all next week. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.